All right, so I ordered a Westinghouse 4500 dual fuel propane generator the other day, and on one hand, unboxing videos I think are fucking stupid, but on the other hand, this one here is a refurbished, is what Westinghouse calls it. That's their terminology, not mine. A refurbished generator, and so because it's not brand new, I did actually want to do like a unboxing video, if you will, because Westinghouse says that it comes with all the stuff that a brand new one would, and says that the generator is supposed to have less than 20 hours on it. And near as I can tell so far, the accessories, the other stuff that it comes with, seems to actually be brand new. But obviously, I haven't even got the top piece of foam off yet, so I'll keep going here. Okay, so they did say, of course, that somebody had this before and evidently had a problem with it, sent back to Westinghouse, and then they refurbished it. So not surprised to see that kind of stuff there, but I mean, holy crap, like my Honda generator's got 200 some hours on it. Doesn't even, I've been nicer to it than that, but I guess, what do you expect? So obviously, had gasoline in it and what have you. And keep going. All right, so had a little tag on that guy there. Just notice there's a gap there. Whoever the fuck had this before was not nice to it. But, it's got, so far, it's got all the stuff that it's supposed to on it. Just pulling the rope over by hand here, I couldn't get it on video, but it feels like it's got a lot of compression on it, so that's cool. That little dude there on the fuel filler is popped out. Oh, easy enough. Oh, and I'm injured myself the other day, so I'm kind of crippled. But I put two synthetic slings on here and picked it up with my chain fall. But see here. Assuming the battery is disconnected like the new ones. Yeah. Yep. So I'll get that hooked up right quick. So it looks pretty clean in here, which I'm happy to see. I was kind of worried about, this thing being run in some really nasty dust and potentially fucking things up. Air filter's very clean, except there's no oil on it, or no appreciable oil anyway, so I'm going to take that out and put some dirt bike air filter oil on it. So there's what I use there, just same as on my dirt bike. The air filter on this thing is decent, I would say. It's nothing really to write home about, but if you keep that oiled and stay on top of the maintenance on the air filter, I imagine that would do all right. Be nice to see something a little better, but that's about, I don't know, an inch and a half thick piece of foam or something, and you can see, versus the valve cover there, it's pretty decent size. So yeah, just oil and maintenance, hopefully that'll be okay. And so I bought the extended run cap for this thing, and then a magnetic dipstick and a little drain funnel there. And I've bought a number of things from these guys here, and really happy with their stuff, made in US. And they say, the metal, or all their parts and materials are American made. I would imagine, aside from the magnet that's in there, I guess nearly 100% of neodymium magnets are from China, unfortunately. But oh, all right, I gotta pop that chain off, and then I'll see if this fits. Well, I damaged the chain, so I guess I'll have to fish that out later. But cap fits on there great. And then, of course, quarter-inch NPT, so you just put whatever connection in there you want. These generators do not have a fuel pump, so they will not pull fuel into them like the little Honda 2000s will. But evidently, if you put the cap on here and you put the fuel tank or your auxiliary fuel tank higher than the generator, that it will siphon fuel into these. And on a fart around about adding a fuel pump to this as well too. So inside the engine looks extremely clean. One of the other things that I was worried about is, maybe somebody, got this generator here and ran it balls to the wall, full power and 110 degree heat for the first time that it ran, and that the oil was going to be all nasty. But so far it looks pretty good. Here's the dipstick and the little funnel that I got for this generator here. This one here is from the same company, but this one there is for my Honda 2200, and go fucking figure, they are actually different threads. So that's kind of a pain in the ass, but I'll put oil in this thing and get the dipstick in. Got oil in it and got the dipstick in there. It'd sure be nice if this dipstick was a bit longer and had something more to grab onto. In this Westinghouse generator here, there is not much room. And I guess just to say right quick, it's really pretty frustrating that they call this thing Westinghouse, because, this is a plastic made in China or somewhere, overseas anyways, but a plastic, inverter generator. When I think of Westinghouse, I think of, the old original Westinghouse. Some of my customers have some pretty darn big Westinghouse motors from probably like the 30s or something like that. One of these days I'll see if I can get a video of them or whatever, but they're fucking cooler than shit. But, it's just, it's sad to see that name rebranded. It's kind of like you walk into, a Napa nowadays or something, and they sell Craftsman tools, and no, it's not anywhere near the same Craftsman. But it is kind of cute that they give you the oil capacities on the side here. And it did come with, of course, a little key fob there. Is that a used key fob? Oh yeah, it's a little scuffed up. So, but came with the key fob and the owner's manual. I'll read through the owner's manual. There's actually a lot of really helpful stuff in the owner's manual, which is pretty cool. And I think that these take the same spark plug as the Honda engines. And then got a little cardboard box here with some other goodies in it. Oh, I'm assuming that's the charger. Little battery trickle charger. Alright, so yeah, we got the little funnel that it comes with, charger, and a little tool kit. The neighbor came over and brought me a cane, and feel all nice and decrepit. Didn't think I was going to use a cane this early in life, but fired it up while they were here, and it was running like it had the choke on, and in the manual it talks about how to work the choke manually. And I guess if somebody's not familiar with these generators yet, they did have a problem with the choke wire coming unplugged. So I think that's in the closed position there, and fired up, see if the choke moves. It could also be that I put too much oil in the air filter, and the air filter is kind of restrictive right now. But if that's the case, it'll just suck some of the oil through there, and everything should be cool. So I got the power switch on, and we'll try with a little key fob here, see what it does. Okay, so it looks like that position is open and that position is closed. So try this again, see if it turns the choke off. Oh shit, that was revved up. Holy crap, so that's really quiet. But apparently I do have the choke wire problem. So I guess I got to figure out how to do that. All right, so pretty stupid that you got to pull the thing apart like this on a new generator. But to be fair, I had read about this and knew that this was a common issue on these things, but I figured that if this was the only issue, that is simple enough. So little control box right there, like starter ropes right there for reference. And I hope that's it. So I guess I reach back around over here and turn the choke on, and then we'll see if it behaves like it should. So there's that part of it, but then my fucking fuel gauge ain't working. So, granted, fuel gauge is not the end of the world. I don't need to have a fuel gauge. Although, you know, I would like it to work, so I guess I'll call Westinghouse and see what they say. Heard people saying this wire is too short, and yeah, I could use a bit extra length, but it's not horrible either. So, yeah. So, I actually forget where I left off on the last part of this video here, and quite frankly, I'm too lazy to go back and look, but I've pulled all the fucking covers off of this damn thing because I wanted to figure out why the fuel gauge wasn't working, and it also does not run worth a fuck on gasoline. So far, I've only tried automotive gasoline in it. I do actually like to run avgas, 100 low lead in all of my small engine stuff. But I might take the carburetor out and see if I can dink around with that thing. But like I said, the fuel gauge didn't work, and I was looking around for an unplugged wire or something like that. And what I found here was, here's the little fuel level sending unit, and hopefully you can see that that the fuel arm is bumping up against this little piece of plastic here. And so hopefully what I can do is just get that over on the side here, and there's like wear marks on there, so evidently that was working at some point, but then got fucked up. I've actually drained the automotive gasoline out of it, and I've actually got avgas in it at the moment. And on one hand, I'm really fucking pissed off that I'm really pissed off at the build quality of this thing. I'm really fucking pissed off that it's got a couple problems. And also from the little bit that I've been running this thing so far, it doesn't have near the output power of what it should. So I've got my Honda 2200, which is rated for 1800 running watts and 2200 surge watts. This generator here is rated for essentially exactly double of that. And so I was thinking that it was going to have double the power. So where the fuck? Anyways, the one panel that it says it on is, I've got it flipped over with screws on it right now, and so I don't want to mess with it. But yeah, this on gasoline is rated for, I think, 3600 running watts and 4500 surge watts. Yet this generator will not start one of my window AC units that the little Honda will. And when you turn off the auto throttle on this thing, it only revs up. I mean, I'll go get my little inductive RPM pickup later and actually measure what it is later, but it sounds like it only revs up like another 100 RPM or something, and it does not sound like it goes to full throttle. Whereas my little Honda, it sounds like, and it revs to basically full throttle so that it has the inertia and everything of the engine spinning ready for a starting load like inrush current or what have you on a motor. Basically, you know, this thing doesn't seem to deal with starting watts worth a fuck. It will not start motors very well, and it actually, like I said, won't even start some motors that the little Honda will. And I'm kind of going around in circles here, but like I said, this is rated for exactly double of what the little Honda is. And I didn't think that was too crazy because the engine is twice the displacement and the generator weighs twice as much. So to think that it has twice the output isn't that far of a stretch. On the other hand, we are comparing, you know, apples to grapefruit here because, you know, really good quality, very well proven Honda versus Chinese, which granted, this is a lot better. This is far superior quality than a Harbor Freight generator, you know, circa 2000 or whatever. Not that that was that long ago, but you know, the quality of these Chinese generators definitely has gotten a lot better. That being said, I am really pissed off that this thing was advertised to be good to go and what have you, and you know, oh, it passed our 32-point inspection and, you know, blah blah blah, and I've had all these problems with it. You know, not to say that it's throwing a connecting rod out the side of it or anything, but it's just all this finicky little bullshit. For one, that I hate dicking with. I really hate doing something, you know, having to go back and do all this crap on something that's supposed to be good to go. Like, if this had 2,000 hours on it, and I wore something out or the inverter failed or whatever, okay, no worries. But just, I don't know. I don't want to ramble on. But suffice to say, I'm just not very happy with it. So I guess let's see if the fuel gauge works now. Can you see? Yeah. The fuel gauge read absolutely 0 before. You know, helps if you switch it over to gasoline. Why is that all pissed off? Granted, I've got the airbox and shit off of it. But I mean, in theory, it should still run okay. Alright, I'll pause this and get back with you later. Okay, so I put the front part of the airbox back together. That seemed to make it run better. I don't know if that adds a little bit of intake restriction that the carburetor is currently tuned for or whatever. And yeah, got avgas in it. It seems to run a little better on avgas, and the fuel gauge is working again now. So it says it's got a full tank, which it actually does. This fucking button is way too sensitive, but it's got 24 hours on it right now. I'm sure somebody noticed in the first couple clips there that when I got this thing, it said it had 1 hour on it, which, like, that part's cool. Westinghouse said that these were guaranteed to have less than 20, and so I'm glad I didn't get one at 96 hours or some shit like that. But I have actually, put 23 hours on this thing. I wanted to film a lot more of it, and I didn't film any of it, but basically I was just really ticked off at the fact that it wasn't running right on automotive gasoline. Actually runs pretty good on propane. And the fact that it doesn't have nearly the output power of a Honda. On one hand, I'm well aware that this is, a Chinese generator, but, it's rated for double what the Honda is. And so, factoring in the fact that those are Chinese ratings, should we assume that it's 2/3 the power of the Honda or something? But for it to not be able to start some things that the Honda will, I think is just unacceptable. That being said, I don't know. Maybe I'll put, maybe I'll get, 100 hours on this thing. Maybe it'll start to run a little better, or maybe I need to. I don't know. I'm kind of, I guess, unsure of whether I should have bought this thing, and whether I should return it or what. Because on one hand, it does work to some degree, and maybe I was expecting too much of this thing. I don't know. Maybe I've gotten spoiled by the Hondas. But I don't know. There's another stupid thing with the airbox that I gotta show you. So there's the main section of the air box here that actually has the air filter inside of it. But then there's this like second baffle section here that's got like the crankcase breather going to it. And there's actually a little piece of foam in here that goes in like so, but you can see it's not actually an air filter because, you know, that hole there is where the intake air comes in, and this guy sits clear on the outside. So I would assume that this little section and the piece of foam are intended for sound deadening, which this thing is very quiet. There's no doubt about that. But the way that this part of the airbox connects to this part of the airbox is just this bullshit little hose here. And this is a very loose fit. There is not much to that at all. Now, maybe this is supposed to have clamps on it. I'm not sure. I'm going to see if I can find some clamps that will fit that to be able to tighten it down. Or maybe I'll just replace this little hose section here with something that fits tighter, because I'm worried about this thing sucking dust. I don't want to, you know, prematurely damage the engine just because it got some dust in it. That's why I've put the oil on the air filter. Okay, I found some clamps that will work. I wish I had better sized clamps, but this is what I got for the moment. And I don't want to... I want to get this together tonight. I don't want to have to come back at this tomorrow or whatever. Yeah, the reason that I worry about the dust so much is the area that I live here can get extremely dusty in the summertime. A buddy of mine came over the other day, and we were moving some dirt around, and I should have actually, I guess, taken a video of it or something, because it was kind of on one hand impressive, but also a little bit annoying, how much crap there was flying around in the air. You know, we had two machines going. We had my backhoe and his little tractor as well too. And yeah, I felt that in my lungs the next day. Should have fucking worn a dust mask or something. But live and learn, I suppose. But yeah, get this back together here. So here's something I'm rather shocked to see. The little red fuel filter in here says made in USA, and this is the factory fuel filter on this thing. So this is from the taking the handle off, but the recoil rope side fuel filter is right in there. And yeah, sure shit, little bastard says made in USA on it. That's kind of incredible. But on one hand, I kind of wanted to add some more, you know, actually show this thing running and what have you before I posted this video. But I think I'm going to post this video as is. And oh yeah, I think I was going to show, so you can see kind of a rub wear mark right there. Well, when this faceplate, you know, when this is pushed into its correct position there, it looks like it rubs on there. But yeah, anyways, so yeah, I'm gonna post this video as is, and I'm gonna wait until I have some time with this generator, and to be able to give a worth a shit opinion on how it actually runs. These couple, you know, deals that I've had with it so far, as far as, you know, pulling out of the box and the choke cable's unplugged and the fucking fuel gauge doesn't work and, you know, doesn't run worth a fuck on automotive gasoline. That, you know, that's something that I can figure out right away. Also, I've since cleaned it, but there was actually a lot of corrosion on the negative side of the battery there. Um, yeah, that's something that I know right away. I don't need to, put 300 hours on this thing to know that I'm really pissed off about that kind of stuff. But on the other hand, now that I've addressed those issues, which, I mean, I guess that's the trade-off of getting, this Chinese stuff. Plus also, Honda doesn't sell anything like this. Yes, they have the 3,000 watt generator, but it doesn't have a propane hookup. It doesn't, have the, um, fuel gauge and shit on it. And is also obviously less, okay, rated for less power output. Maybe the Honda 3000 actually has as much power as this thing here, because the rating on this one seems to be all jacked up. Also, the access door to get in here and change the oil is kind of bullshit, and it fucking, makes a big old mess everywhere. That's kind of annoying. But yeah, suffice to say, I want to get some time on it and see how it works. Probably put a couple hundred hours on it before I make another video, which it shouldn't actually take me very long to put that time on it. Hopefully it works and does okay and what have you. I will say I called Westinghouse to ask what the warranty was on this one here, being the refurbished generator as opposed to a brand new, and that was a very worthless, useless conversation. It just was stupid, and I don't need to talk about that for 20 minutes. And then the other thing too was that I was looking on Westinghouse's website for a Westinghouse authorized service center around here, because my thought process was, this thing's supposed to be under warranty. I think they said it had a 3-month warranty, if I'm not mistaken. The brand new ones have a different warranty than the refurbished one here. And the gal couldn't tell me that all on the phone. So I looked around on their website, found the closest service center, so they said on their website, to me. And I called them and explained, I had a problem with the Westinghouse generator. Would they be able to help me? And the guy on the phone was polite, but you could also tell that he was ticked off. And he was saying, no, we absolutely do not work on Westinghouse generators. I've called, or this was the guy saying that he had called Westinghouse like 100 times and, said, we do not work on your shit, take us off your fucking website. And I asked him if he would be willing to work on this thing anyways, if I just paid him for it. And he's like, hell no, I don't want to touch those damn things. And then I called another shop in town that I've bought some of my Honda stuff from and asked them if they would work on this. And they said that they would not like to work on it, that, maybe potentially they would, but they would certainly rather not. And it's just annoying, because yes, you pay a premium for Honda, but they come with a no bullshit warranty. You can take it down to a service center with very knowledgeable mechanics and get parts for it and all that kind of stuff and everything. You don't have to go through this bullshit here. And before I talk for another 3 hours, yeah. So yeah, so far out of the box, really actually kind of pissed off at this deal, but I'll get some time on it. Hopefully it works out better and I have a different opinion on this thing after I put a couple hundred hours on it. I guess I do actually have a couple more things to add here. So when I was reading through the manual and whatnot on this, it does say that at a given altitude, don't quote me, over 4,000 feet or something, that it says that you are supposed to install a high altitude kit into the carburetor. So basically a smaller jet size. I think that's how it works anyways. I don't work on this kind of shit. Like, I'm no carburetor expert. Suffice to say, I live at a high enough altitude that Westinghouse says you're supposed to put a high altitude kit in it. So maybe that's the problem with it running like crap on automotive gasoline. Um, uh, so that's something that I need to do. Also, it takes the same spark plug as a Honda. So this new one here is a NGK Iridium that I run in my other Honda engines. And uh, this will fit from the GX 160s up to the 390. I would imagine that it fits the GX 120. I think, but I don't own one of those. The engine that's in the Honda 2200 is a GXR 120, I think it is, but that takes a different plug. Um, this here was the plug that the Westinghouse came with, and an LG plug apparently. I don't really feel like that's true. That looks like a knockoff to me. But this one here is a standard plug, where the Iridium plug has got the tiniest little bit of iridium on the end of it. And the reason that I use these, for one, NGK is what the Hondas come with from the factory. But the Hutch Mountain propane kit that I put on my Honda 2200 generator, Hutch Mountain recommends a a iridium spark plug, and I guess that's kind of like a known thing with running propane, is that it is better to use iridium. Not to say that this won't work, but I've also seen fleets of propane trucks, that use iridium plugs. Um, and yeah, that was the other thing. So this is one heat range off, and if I'm not mistaken, this NGK is one heat range hotter. But near as I can tell, this is the correct part number to go in the Honda GX engines. Um, and so I'm just going to put the same thing in this. And if anybody has experience with these Westinghouse generators, whether it's, the 4500 dual fuel or any Westinghouse generators, I would really love to hear your input and hear what your experience has been. Um, and yeah, just add to the conversation, I guess.